Hi, Velin. We haven't started yet. We are just waiting a few more minutes till we have a few more members joining us, and then we'll start. Our speakers and moderators are online, I think. Uh, just give us a few more minutes. I think we are at 2:40. Feel free, of course, to ask as many questions as possible. But the whole purpose of this is to have an engaging session and grow from it. Once the moderators and speakers start, then feel free to ask as many questions. Everything. We also did another session last year, which was Bosiri Boni who was running it. He did a very nice presentation. So you can ask him for his presentation and pressure on him to share that presentation. Bosiri, good afternoon. Are you online and ready to go?
Good afternoon, Baron. I'm ready.
Excellent. Okay, I think we have 255 members online at the moment. Good afternoon, polling manager. Cheno, CMO, Karibu. So, Bosiri, I think Bosiri, can you hear me? Okay, let me use an alternative. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar on marketing, growing, and developing a law firm. It's a part of a series we started as a Young Lawyers Committee to help young lawyers grow their law firms after they take the first step for employment. We had done one last year in January with Jeru, where we spoke to 3 managing partners and they gave us their views on how they started, what they actually did, and some of the challenges. In October last year, Bosiri Boni did another webinar on how to set up a law firm from scratch as a young lawyer. It was a very informative and very engaging webinar. for young lawyers starting up. At that time, we had a mix of speakers who were just starting up. So we covered advocates who were running a law firm between 0 to 3. And they engaged with regard to the pitfalls, challenges, and issues they had dealt with. We then realized that we needed now to also start focusing on the group slightly beyond that step and that stage. I then got back in touch with Bosire. Bosire, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Great. So I got back in touch with Bosire and we put together another webinar, which is basically the step after you set up. Incredibly, it's quite easy to set up a law firm. It's not particularly a difficult thing. The difficult part is the growth. Very easy to leave employment with a lump sum or the few files you have on the side, which all of us do. And you sign a lease for 6 months or for 1 year. You have a lump sum, you're ready with your laptop, your printer, letterheads. And then for a year or two, you try to break the market and get those corporate clients that then keep fee notes coming in. But beyond that, it reaches a stage of perhaps stagnation, which is now the stage we want to tackle, which is what happens after that. You've opened, you have your letterhead, you are now an employer. You have the costs and challenges of employment of appropriate. Is it? Thank you, Daniel Guthuo. I think my network by the lakeside is not ideal. Thank you, Liz. Okay. Anyway, we'll just have to carry on. As I was saying, the startup very easy to start up, but stages past the stage. So if you're searching for answers on how to grow the law firm, it's very easy. You'll get lots of opinions, lots of ideas from colleagues. They're not always necessarily right. This is why we have 3 speakers today. This is why we have 3 speakers today who are actually running their own law firms. And then we have 3 young lawyers who are going to be the moderators, who will also bring their own perspective. I can see my internet continues to be a problem, but I think Bosire can take over. 1 or 2 points. Every video we do or webinar is stored on the LSK Facebook page for future reference. So if you missed this one or missed the later part of it, feel free to go to the Facebook page and then you can literally watch it there at your convenience. We did 1 or 2 that were particularly of importance. One of them, which would be connected to this, is one relating on how to charge and how to bill your clients. Very important. I find that a lot of advocates don't know how to bill. They may have very many firms, they may have very many files, but are unable or don't know how to actually bill a client. So always try and follow up with the webinars we've done and try and learn something from them. Bosire, at this point, I'll hand it over to you and please engage and take over. Thank you very much and have a good session.
Thank you so much, Byron. Good afternoon, friends, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the webinar we have. This, as Byron has said, is just a series of very many webinars that we have that are meant to just shed some light on our day-to-day experiences. I'm going to assist in moderating the session alongside my colleague, Collins Ogutu. I think Collins is, you can hear me and I'm audible. We have three speakers who range from, who have very many, who have a lot of experience in their own space. So I'll request my colleague, without much ado, to proceed and introduce the first speaker. Then from there, I'll take it over from there. Collins, if you can hear me, kindly proceed.
Thank you very much, Basir. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you everyone for finding time to log in for this webinar. My name is Collins Ogutu, also known to most of you as the Kenyan lawyer. Special thanks to the LSK Young Lawyers Committee and also Byron Menezes for the convener for this committee, and also a very able LSK upcountry representative. So basically, when we talk about branding and marketing for startup law firms, we are basically answering two questions. One is, how can you make your firm name more visible? And secondly, what do you want your clients to think of first when your firm name is mentioned? So these past few years, we've had many startup firms have been registered and they are in operation, which means that competition in the practice space has gone up. Therefore, there is a genuine need for guided branding and marketing that will help your firm stand out from the rest. We should know that a good marketing strategy develops a strong brand which helps you attract, resonate, and connect with the right type of clients, which is essential if you want to grow your firm. In this webinar today, you will find important branding and marketing aspects for startup law firms and business tips on getting started with building a good and stable branding and marketing strategy for your firm. So now let me introduce our first distinguished speaker, Ms. Anita Masaki, advocate. Anita is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and now the managing partner and head of litigation at Masaki and Gatu Advocates LLP. She is well versed in family law, conveyancing, tax law, intellectual property, and commercial law with a bias towards litigation. While at it, Anita has become a polished administrator who values the need to give each client the optimum solution, which is specific to their case. The core status of the clients is a matter of a personal concern. Welcome, Anita, and take over from there. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I was tasked to look at exploring the viable options and creating a niche in the practice of law, and also what it takes to retain clients and get more referrals. Kindly allow me to share my screen as I make my presentation. Panelists, give me a thumbs up if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, you can see it.
Okay, sure. So I will go to my presentation. So what are these exploring viable options and creating a niche in the practice of law? So creating a niche in the practice of law in Kenya or any other jurisdiction involves identifying a specialized area of expertise that sets you apart from other legal professionals. When selecting a niche, consider your interest, strength, and the market demand in Kenya. Building a strong reputation in a specialized field can lead to a more fulfilling and successful legal career. So most of us found our niche from our first practice environments. It's here that most people identified what area of law that interested them and what they wanted to pursue. For example, during pupillage, most pupils interact so much with a particular area of law, and upon admission to the bar, naturally they tend to practice along that area since it's what they have interacted with the most. So here are some viable options to consider when identifying a niche. One, look at the emerging legal fields. You need to stay informed about the emerging legal fields in Kenya, such as technology law, climate change, or intellectual property. Becoming an expert in a growing area can give you a competitive edge over the rest of your colleagues. So my second one is family and matrimonial law. Specialize in family and matrimonial law. So including divorce, child custody, and adoption. This can be Can you hear me? Sorry, I'm just losing my network. I don't know what's happening. This can be a
Yes,
niche that
you can hear you.
Okay.
Proceed.
Okay. So family and matrimonial law specialize in family and matrimonial, including divorce, child custody, and adoption. This can be a niche that requires empathy and a deep understanding of the family dynamics. Family and matrimonial law is a going concern in my own perspective. I say this because over time, there have always been issues surrounding property and custody of children when couples divorce. This is one area of law that I find more interesting because of the dynamics that surround each case as it comes. So given the global shift towards digitization, specializing in technology and cybersecurity law can involve advising clients on data protection, privacy, and legal issues relating to emerging technologies. I also find this area very good to look at since it's emerging, and it can also give you an edge over your colleagues. You can also offer specialized services in alternative dispute resolution, including mediation and arbitration. This can be an attractive option for businesses seeking quicker and more cost-effective solutions to legal conflicts. While it's essential to identify a niche that aligns with market demand, it's equally important to choose an area you are passionate with and about and willing to commit in the long term. Building expertise takes time, and sustained interest will contribute to your success. So by combining these steps, you can gain valuable insights that will help you identify a niche in your practice of law that align with your interests, skills, and market demands. Regularly reassess and adapt your niche based on changes in the legal landscape, and for your own professional growth. Also, the second task I was given is to look at retaining clients and getting more referrals. Retaining clients and obtaining referrals are crucial for the success and growth of any legal practice. Building strong relationships, providing excellent service, and maintaining a positive reputation are key factors. Some of the strategies that can help retain clients and get more referrals include: one, you need to have an excellent client service. The first point will be communication. As an advocate, you need to have regular and transparent communication to your client. Keep your clients informed about the progress of their cases, respond promptly to their inquiries, and explain legal matters in a clear and an understandable manner. Two is having a client-centered approach. Tailor your services to meet the specific needs and expectations of each client. Demonstrate that you understand their concerns and are committed to achieving the best possible outcomes for them. Three, you need to manage expectations. As an advocate, you need to set realistic expectations from the outset. Be honest about potential challenges, timelines, and outcomes. Managing expectations helps build trust and reduces the likelihood of dissatisfaction from your clients. The second point is to build strong relationships. One, you need to have a personalized approach. As an advocate, you need to take time to understand your client on a personal level. Establishing a personal connection can create a stronger and more enduring professional relationship. The second point on that topic is client meetings. Conduct regular face-to-face meetings when possible. In-person interactions contribute to relationship building and can make clients feel more valued. Three, you need to deliver results. You need to have quality legal services. You need to offer quality legal services. So consistently provide high quality legal services. Positive outcomes for your clients will naturally lead to satisfaction and increase the likelihood of client retention and referrals. Also, you need to go to that extra mile, demonstrate dedication to your clients by going above and beyond expectations. This may involve putting in extra effort on a case, providing additional resources, or offering proactive legal advice. Four, professionalism and ethics. first, as an advocate, you need to have ethical practices. So you need to adhere to high ethical standards in all aspects of your practice. Clients are more likely to refer to you if they trust in your professionalism and ethical conduct. 2, confidentiality. Maintain strict confidentiality regarding client matters. A reputation for discretion and trustworthiness is a feedback from clients through surveys or informal discussions. Understand their experiences and use constructive criticism to make up improvements in your practice, and then address concerns promptly. If a client expresses dissatisfaction or has concerns, address them promptly and professionally. Resolving issues quickly can turn a potentially negative experience into a positive one. So you also need to stay visible and accessible, regular updates. Even when there are no significant developments in a case, provide periodic updates to let clients know that you're actively engaged and working on their behalf. Accessible communication is also another thing. Ensure that clients can reach you easily. Provide multiple communication channels such as phone, email, and possibly a client portal to make it convenient for clients to get in touch with you. And then finally, you need to ask for referrals. So referral requests, don't be afraid to ask satisfied clients for referrals. If a client expresses satisfaction with your services, politely request them to recommend you to friends, family, or colleagues who may need legal assistance. So remember, client retention and referrals are ongoing processes. Continuously strive to improve your services, maintain strong relationships, and adapt to the evolving needs of your clients and legal industry. Thank you. Collins, over to you.
Thank you so much, Anita. We encourage members to share questions in case they have any issue. I think Collins' call has just dropped off. I can do this brief in the process. We thank you so much for that insightful presentation. I want us now to introduce the second speaker for the day. Her name is Lynn Nganga. Lynn Nganga has been in the legal practice for over 5 years. She is a sole proprietor at Lynn Wanjiru Nganga Company Advocates. She has embraced the spirit of alternative dispute resolution, and she is a certified mediator. She is also an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. In acknowledgement of the fact that the family is the basic unit in the society, she has promoted mediation in family matters, especially custody, maintenance, and succession disputes. She has resolved several disputes ranging into billions of shillings and have saved families from agony and costs of protracted litigation. She has quite a good bio. Lynn, in conjunction with the family law practitioners, is actively working with the judiciary and other stakeholders in initiatives targeting improving delivery of justice in the family division. She's currently the convener of the Chief Magistrate Family Court and a member of the High Court Family Bar Bench and Children's Court Bar Bench. Lynn is also a member of the Kenya Christian Professional Forum, which is active in advocating for governance, family life, and religious freedom. She is a born-again Christian, and she believes in upholding not only the rule of law, but the law of integrity as enshrined in the Constitution. From that bio, you can tell that she is a very resourceful panelist. Lynn, kindly proceed to make your presentation. We look forward to learning more. I also, before you just proceed, I request that people, friends, kindly share your questions, and then I'll put them to our panelists in real time. Thank you. Lynn, you can proceed.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon to all the members present. Thank you, Bosire, for that kind introduction. I will proceed to share my screen. Yeah. Okay. Have I mentioned that I'm also not tech savvy? So I don't know. Where is it? Perhaps, Bosire, if you have it, you could just share from your end.
I'm really trying to trace it. Maybe you can just proceed as we try to retrieve it.
You said I
trying
can
to
proceed.
Yeah, just proceed as I try to retrieve it.
Okay.
So that at least we save time.
Thank you. As he has said, my name is Lynn Nganga, managing partner of Lynn Wanjiru Nganga and Company Advocates. So I will be tasked with taking you through practical skills on how to strategically network with your target audience. So when I was given this question, the first thing that came into my mind is how we visualize networking to look like. So let me know once you share the screen. So it looks like you're in a room full of people and you're looking to go for a certain senior, okay, because we're all lawyers, I could say you're looking for a senior lawyer who you have been looking up to for the longest time, and you think, oh, let me approach this one and this one, ask them how they got to where they are. That's what I pictured networking to look like. But when I delved deeper into what networking looks like, my first approach was, how about let's set networking goals, because that will help you know where you will be, how you will network your law firm. How does setting goals under networking look like? First, let's set measurable goals, short and specific ones, not too long. Short-term goals work because it helps you keep yourself accountable to the goal setting, the actual goal that you have set. So set specific goals, and then the goals will help you in terms of, it gives you the direction that you want to go. It helps you prioritize your time and energy, and gives you focus. What is your focus on when you want to talk about priorities? What do you want from your network? Do you want to learn a certain skill? Do you want to be employed by that person, for instance? Do you want to grow in a certain niche that you're not currently practicing? Those are the type of questions that you'll be asking yourself as you set the goals. When it comes to relationship, because I think that's one of the key skills that one can acquire, is building purposeful relationships with people who can help you. So you ask yourself, what relationship do you want? Do you want a casual one? Do you want a professional one? Or do you want a mentor relationship? I will speak about mentors later. It's part of my slides. And then as you set your goal, one of the things you ask yourself is, how much time and energy are you willing to put in terms of networking? Then after you've done all those, then you are accountable to the key points that you have put in your goals. That's one of the skills. The second one would be review your current network. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask that particular network that you have to introduce you to certain clientele. The other one would be research and prepare before you have a meeting. That would be tied to my second point about when you ask someone for help and for an introduction. As you purpose to meet a new client or a new network, research and prepare before so that you're not clueless as you meet and engage with certain persons. Provide personalized client experiences while maintaining professionalism. This skill is important mostly for those who practice family law, because family matters are very personal. So as you engage with them, be as personal as possible, but still maintain professionalism, because they want to feel that you're human and that you care and that their case matters to you. Be authentic. That's a skill I say. That's my point 5, authenticity. This just basically means be yourself. You don't have to, I think when you try too hard, a client will even think, why are you trying so hard? If you're yourself, they will engage you. Invest in yourself and bettering your craft through short courses in your area of practice. What I have found most helpful is offering pro bono services, because you get to learn more in those cases, and you get to better yourself in terms of patience, and the grace that you can offer people outside there. There are certain skills that after, as you continue, you gain over time: active listening and being compassionate. I have mentioned, and my colleague Bosire has mentioned, I do family law. So being compassionate is very key. Active listening, so that when you meet the client the next time and they remind you of something, you don't look puzzled, or you don't look like you forgot what they said. So active listening will help, so that your clients can be able to see that you appreciate them and that you've taken time to hear them. Maintain privacy and confidentiality. I think that's a skill everyone, even whether or not you have your firm or not, as a lawyer, that's one of the skills that we all must have. Engage your online connection. So for those who are active on social media, I think you should make your online presence aware of who you are and what you're doing and the milestones that you're achieving. LinkedIn is something that we are seeing lawyers do. Under your LinkedIn, you're posting new articles, you're writing about the new laws that are emerging. I think Anita has shared on that. I think that's a skill that you can put. Become part of a niche community. And for this particular skill, I said, if you are practicing, for instance, in family law, engage in the bar benches that are under family law, so that you can better your skill. I spoke about consistency, and I say that building a strong brand needs consistency. So if you're consistent, for instance, when you meet your client and you say you communicate within the next 24 hours, when you receive emails, responses are done within 24 hours, be consistent on that. Be consistent on when you respond to clients, when you deliver your work, consistency in your pleadings. If you have a certain way of how you draft your pleadings, maintain that, because at the end of the day, consistency is key, and clients note that if there's a change in delivery of work, in your communication, and in your pleadings. The next one would be being intentional. I think I should have actually started by saying, as you set your goals, be intentional about achieving them. Because there's a writer who said, Kat Campera said, if you're going to grow, you have to be intentional. So be intentional in just not setting your goals, but achieving your goals. Be intentional about meeting the people you want to engage with relationships with. Be intentional about prioritizing your time and energy in networking. And just growing your firm. Be intentional if you wish to gain more knowledge in your area of practice. Be intentional about that. And meeting people physically. I think we have grown so comfortable with an online presence that we forget that it's important to meet people physically so they can have a feel of who you are. So if you have engaged with relationships with your mentors, one of my proposals would be intentional about meeting them physically and within a short time. I did talk about relationships, and so my last skill would be about mentorship. Mentors are there to build us. They're there to uplift us and guide us. So identify a mentor, engage with them as frequent as possible, and consult. I think one of the skills that you gain from mentors is because they've been there for a long period, they know. And my mentor always tells me, when you know better, you do better. So when you know it, you do better. I think that's it for my presentation. I'll hand it over to Bosire. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that short and precise presentation, Lynn. Perhaps before you leave, there are questions streaming in. I can see a question from Mercy Wanjiru. She wants you to elaborate on something. She says that I understand a bit of the bit on providing quality service, but since our profession also relies on third parties, how do I navigate as some third parties are very unreliable and wouldn't know unless you work with them. So I think it's a question of how do you interact with these third parties while you understand actually they can fail, they can be very unreliable. Kindly, if you can elaborate on that.
Maybe I didn't understand. Who are the third parties? Are they your associates? Are they clients or families of
I think
clients?
she's talking about referrals and looking for referrals from third parties. You always need to meet those people and try to reach out to them. Her question is, some of these people are so unreliable. And I think it is a common startup problem, especially when you're starting a business, until you build that social capital. Maybe try to give some insight on how to manage yourself when dealing with this third party.
Okay, I will speak for me, but I think also Anita wants to respond to that. When you want to engage in a relationship with a mentor or someone to help you start your practice, you need someone who's reliable. So if someone is not reliable, I'll say this in the politest way possible, you move to the next one until you get that one who is reliable, someone who will walk with you in this journey, because there's no point of engaging someone who's unreliable. And I think the Law Society has come up with a young lawyers mentorship. So if you are unable to get someone within your networks, you can reach out to the Law Society, and then they will also give you mentors to work with you. Yes.
That's quite insightful. Anita, anything to add?
So
Anita?
for me, yes,
Yes.
for me, I think that question was directed to my presentation on delivering of quality services. I don't know if that's yeah, because she says, I understand the bit on providing quality services, but since our profession also relies on third parties, how do I navigate that as reliable and you wouldn't know unless you work with them? From my interpretation, is this maybe the people you use, let me say like the guys at Land's office, these clerks that you can get to maybe follow up with your issues at the land. For me, on dealing with third parties is one, like I said, even for us lawyers, we get clients through referrals because of our work. So maybe on how to navigate with third parties, just ask around if this certain person has delivered for an advocate before, they still someone very fresh who don't know their way around. So I think for me, that will be it. Get someone who's trusted, someone who's worked and delivered before, instead of engaging just any other person. So I hope, Mercy Wanjiru, your question is answered.
Thank you very much for that insight. I hope it is very articulately solved. I intend to introduce our last speaker.
Sir, if you don't mind.
Yes, Byron.
So
your internet seems to be failing you so badly. We cannot get you clearly. Byron, I think your internet is not, it's quite shaky. Sorry.
In the chat, look at Alex Washira's question, chat box. I think that's something perhaps you can discuss later on.
I don't know. I'm not getting you clearly, Byron. I think your internet is a bit shaky. Maybe we can just give you a minute so that you can shift a bit. Then you can present those comments. I think that's okay. I think I lost him.
I think, Basiri, we can just proceed. Maybe we'll deal with it at the end.
Yeah, let's proceed. I think once we are done, when we are in the Q&A session, you will just put in the comments. I think that is proper. Okay, thank you for that, Byron. I want to introduce to us our final speaker, who is also the most experienced speaker we have in the panel. And his name is Bernard Mugisha. Bernard Mugisha is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya with over 10 years experience as a legal professional. And then he's currently the senior partner and head of litigation at Nyanga Mugisha Advocate, a medium-sized indigenous law firm in Nairobi. His role as a senior partner and head of litigation has afforded him an opportunity to perfect the art of courtroom litigation, and also where leading commercial banks, manufacturing companies, security firms, and cooperative societies, among many other corporates and individual clients. In his over 10 years experience in legal practice, he has been privileged to deal with numerous cases in various courts within the Republic of Kenya, and he takes pride in providing solutions for these clients he represents. However, one of the models, maybe his greatest achievement, was the decision to start Nyanga Mugisha Advocates. For the firm is now 7 years, and he says that it has been a proverbial journey of 1,000 miles. Other than practicing, he loves mentoring young people and more so young lawyers who are starting up. He enjoys sharing his experiences on what to do and what not to do. What people do not know about him is he has a very great sense of humor, and he loves playing golf during his free time. I think this is every wish for any young lawyer, to love to play golf and have a good sense of humor. Karibu sana, Bernard. And even as you start, there is a question here, because I remember you are allocated something on technology and how to maximize technology. There is a question from Elizabeth Aroka, who requests that you elaborate on establishing a client medium of communication. Kindly proceed and let's have an interactive session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bosire. Also, thank you so much, Byron, for convening or organizing this webinar. I believe this is a platform for all of us as advocates and as colleagues to share our different experiences, in that we are able to mentor those who wish to start their own practice. And I believe by sharing our various experiences, we can learn from each other, and perhaps avoid making mistakes, which maybe some people do whenever they are starting their practice. And by and large, they end up with a lot of struggling as they get along, because one of the key things is that they lacked mentorship, or they maybe due to lack of knowledge, and by the end of the day they ended up making several mistakes, or they struggle while starting up their practice. As Bosira stated, my name is Bernard Mugisha, a partner at Nyanga Mugisha Advocates. We are based in Nairobi, and we also have a branch in Mombasa town. I've been given topics to discuss. One of it is the practical skills on personal branding and marketing the law firm while complying with the advertising rules. So when I was given that topic to explore, one of the key things that I looked into was, what are these rules that we are supposed to work within while we are branding and advertising our firms. If I know most of you are familiar with Legal Notice 42, the Advocates Marketing and Advertising Rules of 2014. Those rules, once they were gazetted, they have specifically, just run through them very fast. Rule number 5, it provides it. Basically, as you all know, advocates, we are actually limited on what we are supposed to advertise, what we are supposed to, the information that we are supposed to relate to the public in respects to our practice and in respects to our clients. When you look at rule number 5, and I'll be very fast on the information in an advertisement. Whenever whenever you're advertising yourself, the rules provides that the only thing that you can relay out there is one, the identity of the advocate, the identity of the advocate's firm, the date in which the advocate was admitted to the role of advocates, the address and the contact information of the advocate or the advocate's firm, the hours of business of the advocates or advocate's firm, the language of business used by the advocate or the advocate's firm. When you look at the said rules, rule number 5, it also says G, the academic or professional qualification of the advocate, or any contribution that the advocate or the advocate's firm may have made to the preparation of a published legal article or a legislative bill, or any contribution made by advocate or the advocate's firm to legal education. When you just read that provision, it is explicit that we advocates, we are not allowed to come and say, now I, Anita, I'm the best lawyer in town. I'm here to solve all your problems. we are so limited to what we can advertise. When you look at 5.2, rule 5.2, in an advertisement under these rules, the name or the identity of a client, of the advocate or the advocate's firm, picture of the advocate's partner or partners or another advocate employed in the advocate's firm, academic or professional position held by the advocate before that advocate's admission to the role of advocates, or promise for the advocate's firm to achieve a particular outcome for clients or prospective clients of the advocate or the advocate's firm, or that failure to obtain that outcome shall constitute for the advocate's firm's legal fees. Those are our rules. Basically, when you having read those rules, the question now that we ask ourselves, how then do we advertise ourselves? We are starting up a law firm. Maybe you are 2 years post admission to the bar, and you think you are ready to go. And having those rules in mind, how then do you advertise your law firm? Or even, let's say it's 5 years and you really want to advertise. One of the things we all agree that currently we are now having, I wouldn't want to say, I will not want to be quoted, but I think where I see it is that we are now the number of advocates being admitted to the bar per year has, over the years, the numbers are not the same. Because I remember as we were in KSL in 2012, and the number of advocates that we were admitted, I remember us when we were being swearing, we took our Bibles and we were admitted one by one because we had the luxury. Currently, that is not the case. The reason being is that there are so many number of advocates being channeled out there. Do we have sufficient offices to employ all these advocates? Where I see it, the answer is no. And as a result, what has become is that now people are big and they are now opening law firms straight away. So it is obvious that currently there are now so many, there are numerous law firms coming up, and the market is competitive. The market is competitive, starting from the young lawyers to the senior lawyers. It is becoming, very competitive. And as the then AG Attorney General, Professor Githu Muigai, has many times used to say that there be lawyers are like monkeys or grass. There are those of us who will remain at the basement, who will never enjoy the sun, and there are those of us who will work very hard and sit at the treetop and be able to enjoy the sunshine up there. But the good thing about one of the things that I like about that statement of his is that the lawyers currently enjoying the sunshine, one of the benefits they have is the benefit of time. Okay, They have had the benefit of time. For the young ones of us, we have the latitude of time. Okay, we have time such that if we do everything correctly, then trust me, and with the correct mentorship like the webinar we're having today, trust me, we will all have an opportunity to enjoy the sunshine up there in this legal profession of ours. So I would advertise your firm, okay, to enable you be out there and I try to appeal to of course. One of the things that I sat down and thought, and I was thinking, when you want to advertise, the first thing you need to sit down, you need to ask, because most of us, we just advertise. We're not sitting down and say, okay, as Lynn Ng'ang'a, whenever you think about advertising amongst your fellow lawyers, okay? Are you advertising among your high school colleagues? The question is, when you sit down to advertise, who is your targeted audience? So that is the first question that I sat down and asked myself when I was preparing this presentation. And one of the key thing that came out is that we thank God that we are now in the era of digital platform. So one of the places that I really sat down and thought that we need to utilize the digital platform for maximum impact. Okay, we need to maximize. And one of the thing is, and I'll give various platforms where you can be able to advertise your firm. One of them is, number one, creating a user-friendly website. You find most of us, we really, whenever we are opening a firm, we focus on opening a very bougie law firm. We spend all our resources in, it's not, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but something as simple as a web. Most lawyers actually do not have websites. Most law firms do not have websites. Maximize is creating site serves as a virtual front door for potential clients. Ensure it is well designed, easy to navigate, and provide essential information about your firm, your firm's service and expertise. Okay? Because most of the time, whenever you meet a client, the first thing is that even a potential client, you give them your card and you need to demonstrate that, at least for more details, this is my card and this is our website. And these days, clients are very particular. They go back and try to find out, who is this Lynn Ng'ang'a? Okay? And how many, some of them want to see, do you even have an address? In fact, even some clients are very curious. They'll never give you work until they come to your office and see, do this person really have a place where he calls an office? Of course, and one of the areas that will give location to your office is a website. And just to buttress that point, there's what we call search engine optimization. You need to have like a user-friendly in a place where people can search the content of your firm. You see, once you create, people search, they keep on searching, let's say Lynn Ng'ang'a Associates or Nyanga Mgisha Advocates in Nairobi. Anytime, let's say somebody comes to Nairobi and saying, law firms in Nairobi, such options where people can be able to search, and they keep on searching, and several people searching your website. And then the search engine optimization is one way that will be able to advertise your law firm. The other thing that I thought that was important was content marketing. Content marketing. I believe as a young practitioner who is starting up, you have a lot of time. For example, there are so many emerging issues that are coming up every day. So many emerging issues. And fun enough, you'll find Taiwan firms are still beating all of us in terms of content marketing. Whenever an emerging issue comes, you'll find Taiwan firms are the first ones to prepare a content on that issue and publish it. Such that even us, when we come back, we are so late. When we want to publish, we are almost short of plagiarizing whatever they have published. So one of the key areas to publish your firm, content marketing. Whenever an emerging issue, a new law has been asserted into law, let's do a quick summary, a quick brief, and then publish. Okay? Publish out there. And trust me, most people will want, and you see, when you publish something there, everybody, you see, for example, we had the data law when it came into force. Anybody who published the data, the data protection law when it came into force, most your clients out there, they actually tend to assume. Sorry, take it so that I'm not late with time. Most people are, most people will identify you as if that is your specialty. They say this guy, by the virtue that he has presented or written a certain topic on certain issue, people will presume whether you are an expert or not. But the client out there, or most corporations, will just assume that Anita is an expert on that area. Okay, but as they always say, the lawyers, we can become experts in anything. We can always find the law anywhere. The other issue, the other aspect that came to my attention was email marketing. Email marketing. You like I said also, when you are starting up a law firm, let's not keep on using Gmails. Okay, you're using Yahoo to communicate to clients. Let's try to come up with proper emails that one bears the name of the firm, that identify the name of the firm. Okay, because let Gmails remain as a personal or social emails. Okay, so email marketing is very important, so that when you see there's an email, the way in fact, like your email there, when you're sending to your clients the email, let it even have your signature down there. Okay, and the position in your firm, even if it is your associates, let's say your clerks, you just write there, down there, you prepare very nice legal clerk, or if it's a secretary, you write legal office administrator, very nicely. It's a way of marketing. It shows that, one, you're very organized. Okay. The other thing that I also took into consideration while marketing is social media engagement. Leverage on the various platforms that are currently in place. One is Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Yeah, I believe those are a bit more. They are better. I will not mention about. It's called what? I can't remember this. I know there are various other social platforms, but the one that I think proper way of marketing your firm, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and be there and be proactive. And for example, you see, when we talk about content marketing, this is content marketing. This is a platform for you to publish your law firm: Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Okay. So once you come up with a content creation, or you've prepared a legal brief, you immediately post in these platforms. The other thing that also came to my attention is legal blogging. Legal blogging, I've seen it's a way of marketing yourself. I've seen some people do that in the area of specialization. I've seen some of my legal, my colleagues, where they're able to, let's say, for example, they're very good in employment law. And let's say every Thursday they have a blog where they educate people about, Section 44 of the Employment Act, their rights as an employer, an employee, and you keep on educating people. So you create your own legal blog, and people over time, they'll be able to identify you, and they'll identify you. So anybody who has a problem related to employment, they they will remember that, you know, I saw a blog by Bosire, and that whatever the presentation was so informative, and immediately, trust me, you will not fail to get 2 or 3 clients who will come, want to present you with a problem and looking for solution. So legal blocking is also one way of marketing yourself without infringing the rules as provided. There's also video content. Let's say video content where you can create a video and discuss issues and be able to publish out there in the social platform. Finally, on that area is success stories. Okay, success stories. For example, I've had us even all of us as lawyers here, we have dealt with cases, and I want to believe, and I know, of course, all of us have had story. All of us have a success story on that one case where, you know, you went home and when the judgment was delivered, you felt as if this is why I'm a lawyer. You know, there's that one moment, that one case. When you have that success story, publish it. Publish it. Let people know about it. Okay? Don't just sit there, and trust me, no one will ever come to look for you to tell your story. The only person who can tell their story is you. You as an advocate, you as a person who want to be out there. Otherwise, if you sit back and wait, trust me, forget about it. No one will come and publicize you or take you or market you. Okay, it will not happen. So your success stories, tell them out there. Okay, it will market the firm. It will be able to demonstrate your expertise in that area, and anybody else who have such problem that you successfully dealt with, definitely they'll come looking for you. So I think I've really tried to dwell on that issue of marketing and branding yourself. I don't want to. I can talk and talk and talk about it. So I will not. I will leave it at that, because I've been given 2 topics, but the other one I'll move very fast so that I'm able to hand over. The other area that had been given to discuss, I believe, at the question and answer, I'll be able to clarify any other issues. The other place that I had been told to deal with, I'll try to move very fast, is how to adopt innovative legal service delivery models and optimize technology to meet clients' changing demands. Okay. We must admit that I think COVID as a profession really it woke us up. You know, if there's a profession that was woken up in terms of technology adoption and advancement, I think it was the legal profession, because I think lawyers we don't like change. we completely don't like change. But one of the things that COVID taught us is that basically COVID forced change on us with respect to technology. So I tried to just move very fast. Legal service delivery is the means and method by which legal work product is transmitted to the client. Law firms spend enormous effort on making legal work excellent. Okay. As clients focus on the value they receive from law firms in terms of both work and delivery, they also grow the need to understand the legal work they are buying into the context of their specific business needs. Okay? Legal service delivery models that optimize technology to meet the changing demands of clients are increasingly vital in the modern legal landscape. Here are some of the key models and technologies being adapted by law firms. I'll just run through them. I compile a list, some of the models. some people are adopting as a technology, what do you call it? Innovation, virtual law firms. Okay. So here, this is virtual law firms. Basically, people are utilizing cloud-based technology. Virtual law firms. So utilizing cloud-based technology, virtual law firms operate mostly entirely online, offering flexibility and cost saving. So there's some now, guys, in terms of innovation, to deliver service for legal service delivery as a model. Some people are coming up with virtual law firms. They don't have an office. Okay, they work remotely completely. So that's one of the model that people are adopting. The other one is automated legal service. Automated legal service. This is implementing software for automating routine tasks like document generation, contract review, legal research. When about automated legal service, you find like most firms, especially Tier 1 firms, this is what actually they are beating us, because the automated legal service, the systems or the apps, they are very expensive. You may find, for example, per user per month is around 70K. Okay, but you see now, when it comes to time management, when you have those apps, within a minute, whatever, let's say you just need to give them some information about what you want, and within a minute or 5, you have a full document. The only thing, you're just changing our names, and you already have almost a complete document. Okay. The other thing is, I had been told client portals. It's a question. Client portals, providing clients with online portals where they can access documents, case status updates, communicate with their lawyers. These portals enhance transparency, improve client engagement and satisfaction. You see, client portals, there are various apps that are being created currently or innovated by IT guys that fit now the lawyers. Okay, a good case study is one called Wakili CMS. Sorry. I wish we use it in our law firm, and I can tell you it's one of those portals where you can get. I may take some few minutes to explain how it works, but the client portals, depending with the apps, you can be able to have an app where you can be able to directly in each specific file or an update, you're able to relay that information directly to your client, and you guys can be able to communicate. You can ask for status within the portal without even necessarily just doing emails. Okay. The other thing is subscription-based legal services. This is offering legal services on subscription basis, giving clients ongoing access to certain legal services for a fixed monthly or annual fee. This model is often supported by technology that streamlines routine legal tasks. Okay, so you can come up with a subscribe-based legal service where whenever anybody wants an assignment, they can pay a certain amount, or they subscribe to your service, they pay a certain amount. In some very developed countries, this is a very popular actually area or an innovative way of practice, and is becoming popular. The other thing is there's what we call online legal services. This is offering legal services through online platforms, which include everything from legal advice to document preparation. This platform often use technology to match clients with appropriate legal services at competitive rates. Okay, I believe there's also what we call blockchain for smart contracts. Utilizing blockchain technology for creating and enforcing smart contracts. This is particularly useful in areas like real estate, intellectual property, and corporate law. So blockchain for smart contract. Again, this is that also an app. Okay, it's basically majorly on contracts, just to be specific. Where if you want any contract, again, that contract is within a minute. You just need to give it information on what the particulars that you want, and it will publish that contracts that you want. There's also what we call data analytics and big data. Using data analytics to gather insights from larger data sets for strategic decision making, risk management, trends, and predicting legal trends. So some people use in a way of innovation is data. Just to finish on that models, these models reflect a shift towards more client-centered, efficient, and technological advanced legal services, aiming to meet the evolving expectation of clients in a digital age. Law firms adopting these models can enhance their competitiveness, client satisfaction, and operational efficiency. I think the other thing I'd prepared was some of the hindrance on towards why we take time to adapt innovation. I will wish maybe I can just read through it very fast. I will not go into explanation. One of the hindrance towards why we are not adapting to innovation. One of it is training. How we were trained. We lawyers, we have a certain fixed mind. Two is mindset. Three is in investment. We are investment and risk. We are shy on taking risk. If I take this amount to buy this, to take, we can't risk, let's say, to do subscription-based legal services or online or virtual law firms. Lawyers, we believe I need to be in an office. A client must come and see me, and that's how our minds are stuck. Okay, so lawyers, we fear to invest on innovation, and we also fear to embrace those innovation. We are afraid to take the risks. Okay, so I think with those many remarks, I will mark as my close of my presentation. I hope it was interactive, and at least you have learned something from me and as well. Thank you so much. I hand it over back to Bosire.
Thank you very much for that very serious and insightful conversation. I think almost everyone must appreciate that. Senior, you've done well. You've given very good and quality insights on how to brand law firms. Byron, you had a comment to say before I go to questions.
Thank you, Bosire. I hope my network is much better.
Yes, I can hear you. Kindly proceed.
Okay, I wanted to just make a few points. Called the Ushauri program, which was designed for young law firms to partner with elder and more senior law firms, opening a mentorship program. We had 100 applicants as mentees, but we only had 9 mentors. So at the moment, we are still working on that. We hope to partner up mentor and mentees. But those who are interested, keep applying, keep reaching out, and we will continue to look for mentors who can then mentor these young law firms. I just wanted to touch on a few points. Anita talked about client care. And my background is actually in lots of different industries. And client care is actually one of the most important elements of being a successful lawyer. I have a colleague who never informs his client of the position of the case. And when I had a discussion with him over this, he said that's how he was taught. His pupil master never, and I said to him, this was actually gross misconduct under the LSK Code of Ethics. The other knock-on effect is clients don't get referred. That's something really important when you start to grow. Do a good job, like our senior Mugisha just said. Publicize it, because that's how you grow. No one's going to come and look for you, but it's your actions that actually speak in terms of customer care and client care. Alex, I think what Washira had spoken about the location and how to set up. I hope our speakers will then discuss that. I know Anita has set up in the CBD. The other panelists can also contribute to that discussion and the same. Social media presence. I always keep saying in my mentoring at the universities and Kenya School of Law that our universities are too theoretical. Kenya School of Law is also too theoretical. These are basics that we should have worked on from our first year and built up our LinkedIn profiles from our first year all the way through our 4 years at university and then into Kenya School of Law. That way, at this stage, we're not rushing to build a solid LinkedIn profile. It actually captures everything we've done from our second year attachment to our 4th year dissertation and our clinicals, which I know Anita did in 4th year. Anita, did you upload your dissertation?
Not yet, Byron. No, I
See,
haven't.
I also haven't done it, and yet this is a critical element of the work we've done as law practitioners, which should be on our LinkedIn profile. Fortunately, we haven't. So it's very important that, especially with pupillage, I saw Metrin saying CMS Wakili is a very good program to use. There are some people who have never used it. So yeah, I hope we have a good, interesting discussion after this on these points. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Byron, for that presentation. I'm trying to sample some questions that have been presented. There are quite so many. Maybe I'll start with the senior Mugisha to try to answer this. Roslyn Wekesa is asking, can one register virtual law firms in Kenya and it will be legal? This is because we are registering firms from there, and then we can always look for other questions. Thank you, Senior.
Bosire, you had I didn't hear what you asked.
Yes, there is a question from Roslyn Wekesa. She's asking whether it is legal to register virtual law firms in Kenya, because so far, according to her, we are registering law firms in a traditional way. Is it something that we can? Is it something that you can advise about?
Yes, to answer that, you see, we only register law firms. You see, even if I can register a law firm in my name, and I can put my address as my house. Okay, what it means that virtual law firms is that I don't have like an office, like the way I'm seated now. Okay, I'm working remotely, virtually. Okay, that's basically what it means. There's nothing illegal about that, and I believe Senior Byron here can confirm that. Absolutely, there's absolutely nothing, and I believe I'm convinced there are several lawyers who have actually, due to cost of living, there's some especially young lawyers who have taken that route where they are working remotely, and they provide their service. You see, with this era, it's not necessarily that you need to meet your client physically, okay? And depending especially with the area of practice that you're into, okay? Because the beauty thing about legal practice is that it's so diverse. It's so diverse. There's some people I meet and they tell me they consult on oil and gas. I'm like, oh my God, explain to me more. You know, and when you see these guys, the people they consult on, you really get amazed on what the things they are doing. And for me, I think legal, one of the things is that traditionally we have stuck to litigation, selling properties, which is real estate, and our mind is so clogged about those two areas of practice. Yet legal practice is so diverse that if we open up our mind, we will be so surprised on how much we can do.
Thank you very much for that. I think there's another question. I'm trying to sample some of them from the chat. I think, Anita, you can try this out. There's someone who is
Actually, there's
asking.
someone who is confirming here. Since COVID, I
Yes.
moved abroad and I've been working virtually.
Oh,
Elizabeth.
yeah. Yes. Actually, yes, Elizabeth Kanga. Thank you very much for that experience, Elizabeth. Anita, how do you avoid getting conned by brokers? And there's an interesting question I've received from one of the listeners. I forget his name, but then kindly, Anita, try to share some light about that.
Sorry, Bosire, did you direct the question to me?
Yes.
Please come up again.
The question is, how do you avoid getting conned by case brokers and ambulance chasers? It's a good question. I see Byron has tried to answer it, but then I think it is for the common good that we shed some light about it.
So I think basically it's just to know, have you worked with this person before? Personally, I do not have an experience. I've not done any RTA. I've not encountered those ambulance chasers, but I think it's just look out. You as an advocate, maybe you can know, have they presented cases before? Or have they given someone a case? Because ideally that's a broker. And even in issues of land matters, if someone approaches you, they have a matter and they need you to take up so that they can become a broker because you are not the first contact person. It's just maybe just do your due diligence. I know it can be hard sometimes, especially for those RTA matters, because there are so many and so many people come claiming they were the ones present at that time when it happened, or they are the ones who know these people. So I think it's just you as an advocate, do your due diligence. Is it someone you can trust? And I think maybe you can, I don't know, maybe just invoke your instincts or just be on the lookout. But honestly, I've not encountered RTA. I don't know, maybe my colleague Mugisha and on it, but I think it's just do due diligence, because it's not every day that you as an advocate can receive calls or just clients coming in as brokers or agents to a matter. Yeah.
Thank you very much about that. Any other person who has a comment about it? Maybe from my end, for me, I chased away all the ambulance chasers. I had an experience with them. They always promise you big time, but then you end up realizing actually you're working for them because they want all the money and you take all the time in court. Just, yeah, you see, it is not even worth it. So for brokers and ambulance chasers, just avoid them. I think that is the better way. This is the safest way out. Yes, thank you. That any comment, Lynn?
I mean, I agree with you. I was nodding because my answer would be, do not engage any further.
Thank you. There is another question here, maybe before, on what role does reputation play when you are building your brand? I think it's a very important question that must be answered. I don't know. Anybody who is willing and ready and able to tackle that, kindly take it up.
Maybe just to answer on reputation, one of the things people need to understand as lawyers, providers, we provide a service, okay? And when you're a service provider, the most important thing as a service provider is reputation. Reputation is everything in our and reputation is a holistic thing. One, reputation, if you are known to be a lazy lawyer, it's not just about stealing clients' money. Okay, you can be given a case to file a suit. Okay, you take almost 6 months just to commence a suit, and then you have no reputation there because that law, and the guy has paid you. He has paid you a deposit to start the case. 7 months down the line, you have never commenced a suit. Okay, or you do not even pick. You are a top Nairobi City lawyer. You don't pick phone calls. Yet you're only 3 years in practice. Okay, you find even senior lawyers pick phone calls. So reputation is a holistic thing, which or you don't even write emails. You don't update clients on after court. You see, that's all goes down to reputation. So reputation is small things which really goes down to how you evolve as a practitioner. So if you have a bad reputation, trust me, you'll be stuck there forever. You'll never grow because you have a bad reputation. And let it not be misconstrued. Reputation, okay, stealing clients' money, now you have become rogue, okay? You have become rogue. You're almost, let me not use it, but you're almost becoming unredeemable. But reputation is so many things, which as a practitioner and as a professional person, as a service provider, comes to, it's very key, very important.
I think I could add to my senior and say, and tie it with the issue of networking. Who you associate with also builds your reputation. So if you are seen associating yourself with lawyers who are not, who lack integrity, who are known to bribe, then that's what you'll be known for. If you associate yourself with networks that have integrity, are straightforward, then that's what you'll be known for. Another thing to add about your reputation is, don't allow clients to introduce you. Be the one to introduce yourself. So who do you want people to know you as? Do you want people to know you as just Lynn Ng'ang'a, a plain lawyer, Bernard Mugisha, a partner who plays golf? Stop to that. Be the person to introduce yourself. Introduce yourself so that people can know who you are from the onset and maintain that introduction. Bosire?
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lynn. I don't know. There is another question here from Daniel Matui Limanyang. What electronic file management softwares do the seniors use in their law firms? Thank you once more. I think if you have any electronic file management system, maybe you can share with us. This is an open question to anyone who has interacted with that.
On our part, we use the server. The server manages all our how do we have a server? Everybody works in the server, then everybody. So you don't need to print documents for me to read. You just need to close your file. Everybody works in the server, and every file, whenever a new file comes in, it is stored in the server.
Yeah, I think that is a very conclusive answer. Now, there are so many questions. I don't know how best I can go through it. Maybe with your permission, Byron, you can always advise. Are we allowed to boost our Facebook page and also advertise our posts? Quite an interesting question from Triza Memusi.
That's a very interesting question. And of course, we have new regulations which are to be reviewed, eventually passed. But I think realistically, if I'm talking candidly, let me go back. At my time, we had something called a cassette tape. Put in a tape and you pressed play and it played. You couldn't copy it because so you couldn't copy a cassette. Eventually, we had CDs. You couldn't copy a CD. Eventually, you could. Today, we have everything on soft. We have to realize that technology is changing very, very fast. I can tell you 20 years ago, I was walking around the supermarket in the US and they were selling wheels, sample wheels in the US in a supermarket. So the issue of information technology is here with us. You can Google anything, from a succession process to all the law firms that do good write-ups on their websites. We have to accept that technology is here with us and we have to utilize it to grow and expand our space. So this is a difficult conversation, of course, in my position as a council member, but it's something we need to discuss and we need to find ways forward with regard to advertising, the the internet and so on and so forth. But I see a lot of people popularizing themselves. For example, our senior Mugisha here said that if you do something, win a case, publicize it. Even if it's on your personal Facebook page, you have 5,000 plus on your personal page, or even if you have the other types of pages which have more followers, you're doing it through a personal page, you're publicizing your success. I think it's something we need to embrace.
That is very true. That is very true. I think even Senior Mugisha talked about search engine optimization. I don't think nobody will just come to attack you because maybe you sponsored that post or you posted it on Facebook, provided you reach out to very many other people. I think that is an allowed way. Senior Mugisha, there's a question for you. Is golf...
Sir, if I can just add one more thing.
Yes, yes.
I think we also need to start look boundaries. There are a lot of opportunities there. For example, consultancies. There are a lot of international jobs. This morning I was advertising jobs that had an international flavor because they were with international organizations. International organizations need to realize the opportunities outside. Need to stop having a very narrow perspective and think of running down as being the only thing we're doing. There are opportunities out there on the world stage where a lot of Kenyans have gone. Working on our LinkedIn profile, for example, is so essential. Writing papers, that's advertising, but in a professional sphere. Now, I know one of my good friends got an international job. His starting salary was $80,000 plus benefits. For those of you who are good at maths, I would say in today's rate, 11 million shillings a year, 12 million shillings a year. We need to start expanding our minds to look away from basic running down and employment matters and understand there's a whole atmosphere out there that can embrace us. And that's possible through the internet today. Something we really must look at it critically. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. There's a question for Senior Mugisha. I think it comes because from your bio you said you love playing golf. Someone is asking, is golf a helpful venture in marketing? Speak a little to it, nothing to tell us some more. I think that is just a normal statement.
Yeah, to some extent, of course. One of my mentors told me that never venture into it as the priority. Okay, never venture into playing golf as a priority to market, because people will chase you. But over time, people will know you are a lawyer and they will start giving you work. Because,
thank you. Sorry? Yes, proceed.
So with the time, people will know that you're a lawyer, a marketing tool. That's something area, because most people there will not. They don't like you to come and you're pushing them, blah blah blah. But over time, like maybe within a 1 year being in the same environment or being a member of a certain club, people will eventually start identifying you and they'll start giving you work. So yes, to answer indirectly, yes. Directly, no. But eventually, it has good returns at the end of after being there with because you interact with several people every day, and they get to know you. Yeah, and you end up finding that some of them are heads of various organizations and they require legal services. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. But I also know that when you're going to play golf, you don't start soliciting for work, because actually you'll be chased away. You
That's
just
what I
need to
meant.
pretend as though you are very comfortable.
You fake it until you make it.
Yes. I think so far we've covered so many questions. Unless otherwise, with your guidance, Byron, we can do some closing remarks and then we go to it. Byron, can you hear me?
Yes, Basira, I can.
Yes, I think we've covered quite a lot of questions, and I'm suggesting that maybe get some brief closing remarks from the speakers, and then we call it a day.
That would be in order. Thank you, Bosire.
Perfect, perfect. Now maybe let's start with Anita. Maybe say something in closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity to present what I had to present. But before I do my closing remarks, I've seen quite a number of people asking for the slides. I don't know if they can be shared to Byron, then maybe Byron can share to the people who've shared the email address. Yeah. So also thank you, my colleagues and panelists, Mugisha, Lynn, and Bosire and Byron. This was an insightful session. I've also learned a lot. Despite being a speaker, I've also learned a lot from especially my senior, Mr. Mugisha. And yeah, thank you. I believe we are startup firms. We can also take into consideration what we had to, and we will see how we can also like improve our professional growth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity and for our listeners to the fact that they've stayed in throughout the session. We don't take it for granted. My two take homes would be people and hire. They trust and they know. So I hope after this presentation, you can pick to yourself. And lastly, you can never do to yourself is by having satisfied clients.
Good punchline. That's a good punchline. Senior.
First of all, let me also say thank you to the Byron, and of course our moderator today, Bosire. Thank you for the good job. I also want to thank my colleagues, the panelists, Lynn Nganga, Anita. Thank you. I've also learned from you guys the interaction, and one of the things I always say is that a journey of 1,000 miles just begins with a step. So for those of you who have the mind to start your own law firm, we will always be here to support, to consult, and we shall always be available to help whenever possible, and also share ideas. Okay, I always say there's no one who has monopoly of wisdom. We keep on learning and unlearning things. So with those few remarks, may you have a wonderful evening, and God bless you all, and thank you all.
Thank you very much, Senior Mugisha. Byron, you have anything to say?
So yes, I will just one or two points. I've seen all the comments with regard to the presentations. So perhaps the speakers share it to me, and then I can share it to all the WhatsApp groups. And then I think everyone should be able to access it there. If you need future reference, these webinars are all stored on the LSK Facebook page. They're stored on the video section or on the main page itself. So sometimes you have to Google or just scroll down. I would really urge people to go and watch the ones on billing, because it's no point being an excellent client care practitioner and not knowing how to bill. And I keep coming across this all the time, because KSL does not teach us how to bill. The only person who perhaps may is your pupil master. Very many advocates fail how to bill. You don't go to a police station unless you're paid. Danston Omari did the last one on how to bill. As soon as you start working for a client, you start billing. That's how you start to make money. You don't just go to a police station, for example, and argue and fight for 3 hours and you haven't paid. Yeah. So go and watch those old videos.